Good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden. We're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball today, and we actually have some fun things to talk about, so why don't we just dive into it? So, we have a trade. Yeah, I know, that sounds weird, doesn't it? So, Blue Jays have made a very, very minor trade to come out the box this morning, and the beautiful thing about this trade is that they got something that could actually help them. I think um, they they end up picking up a young righty in Robinson Pina from the Miami Marlins, and maybe this is the start of more talks with the Miami Marlins. Is my hope. So you got to start somewhere. This is a catalyst sometimes to get other pieces moving on the table. The Marlins are going to be selling. They're got all sorts of good pieces. Robinson Pina has just been promoted to the majors to play with the Marlins, and but he had been putting together a very good minor league season. The young righty tops out around 93, but he has a solid sinker. Doesn't walk a lot of people. Looks very kind of ready to go, polished wise. But it's nice to have another depth arm that can start. Is basically the move summary here. It's nice to see that, and like I said, he's got um yeah, it's just interesting to see how you fill out a roster with this move because, like I said, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing crazy, but this is the kind of thing you need if somebody does go down, another arm that you could use to help them get going, see what happens. But the Blue Jays didn't have to give up a lot. They gave up young 24-year-old Colby Martin, a relief pitcher, for Pina. So you trade a starter for a relief pitcher, gets something that could help at the near major league level. He's got a full slate of options. We'll be able to move him back and forth between Toronto and the minor leagues and be able to keep that moving. It is going to be vastly beneficial just to have another arm and just to give you the fun that he's been doing at the AAA level this year. He was 4-3 in the International League with 57 innings pitched with a 3.47 ERA. So he was finding a way to get outs, and he had 54 strikeouts in those innings too. So he's finding ways to miss bats. So that was the big thing that I thought was very intriguing. If you can miss bats at the minor league level, usually it translates over to the major league level. Keyword usually. He's only gotten a little bit of work in the majors, literally one game, one inning, and he gave up an earned run. So he's got a 9 ERA at the moment. But like I said, you can't base it off of literally a one inning work and what his major league experience is going to look like. So, other Blue Jays news, Alek Manoah is throwing, and he had his first, I'll say, bullpen inning. Now he's going to go to bullpen innings because it went really well, apparently. So Alek Manoah could potentially be on track to helping this bullpen, helping the rotation. Not known yet. We'll see how he can ramp up. The expectation is he's going to be coming back and training up as a starter. But it was intriguing to hear that he's even in the ballpark of moving in the right direction. I guess Thursday he's going to do another 10 session where he's going to throw multiple innings or and just keep ramping that pitch count up. I guess he had 20-25 pitches yesterday or over the weekend that he was able to throw and with no discomfort. And apparently he was clocking out at 95. So that was very interesting, I thought, because he's obviously coming back from Tommy John. It's another great arm to have if he can get any of the form that we had in his two rookie seasons where he literally was our opening day starter. So let's see what goes. I really am still hoping for the Alek Manoah revenge tour. People forget that he was actually a high end draft pick that year. And if you want to see some fun stuff, look at the draft around where he got drafted. Everybody's done really well, and he was on that track as well. So go Alec. So, Blue Jays jumped out to an early lead yesterday in the game against the Cleveland Guardians, improved their record of 42-36. And like I said, it was nice to see this offense clicking so early. Bo Bichette gets on it like Bo Bichette does. Ernie Clement drives him in with a nice double. And then the beginning of this game, it just kind of kept the line moving. After that, Kirky comes up, hits a nice hard line drive, and scores Ernie Clement, keeps moving along in that fashion. And the Blue Jays, at one point, are leading this game 4-0 after a couple of little dingers, or not dingers, but dings against the Guardians with Miles Straw allowing a run to come in on a little squibber. causing an out, but he gets a run in. Alejandro Kirk picks up his second RBI in the 5th inning, puts the Blue Jays up 4-0, and then the worrisome parts started happening. At this point, Ethan Lawler had been cruising. I cannot say enough good things of what that young gentleman has been doing out of the bullpen or out of the rotation now for the Blue Jays. He's been looking great. Another amazing start for him yesterday. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run. Is on the one I'm about to talk about. Walked 3, struck out 5. So he's cruising along until the beginning of the 6th inning. And this is where Carlos Santana continues to be a monster thorn in the Toronto Blue Jays side and hits a dinger. Solo shot. Gets the Guardians on the board at the time. And while that's going on, I honestly didn't feel very comfortable all of a sudden. I don't know why. Maybe it's just Blue Jay jadedness or just my sports jadedness being a Sabres and a Bills fan outside of my Blue Jay fandom. But the Blue Jays do get the 2 runs back pretty quickly in the 7th. Jonathan Clase continues to be a wonderful set of tools on this Blue Jays team. Hits a single that drives in Vlad Jr. and George Springer, puts the Blue Jays up 6-1. So that insurance made me feel a little bit better. But in the 7th inning, Lane Thomas, former Blue Jay farmhand, decides that the score was not close enough for the Guardians fans, and he takes Chad Green. Yes, Chad Green again getting dinged by the lawn ball. He takes him deep for a couple run blast, 3 runs. Puts the at the time the Guardians in striking distance, and I was very uncomfortable at that point because now it just seems to me like, okay, great, here we go again. That 3-run home run puts the Guardians within striking distance at 6-4. But apparently George Springer had other ideas for Blue Jays fans in this one. As the bases get loaded in the 8th inning, George Springer comes up and hits a wallop to left or center field, and the grand salami is out. Break out the mustard, the salami, everything. Puts the Blue Jays up 10-4, and the fun video of that whole thing. Make sure you check it out. The passion that George Springer is obviously playing at and having a better season this year has been fun to watch. And that video is a great summation of that exact effect on how you can see he's just dying to make this team win. So very good, very cool to see that George Springer got a moment in this game like that to be able to put the Blue Jays up at the time 10-4. In the 8th inning, Nolan Jones comes up because of sac fly, gets someone a little bit closer, and Yariel Rodriguez in the 9th gives up a solo shot to Kyle Manzardo, who is a rookie phenom at this point, and I think everybody might be talking him at the end of the season for that exact thing. But there's some stiff competition in the Rookie of the Year this year. So, but Manzardo gets his 12th home run of the season. Blue Jays win eventually, 10-6. It was a well played. It was a well played game. But like I said, I want to just go back really quickly to the Springer dinger. That home run clutch. Like I said, the hamster was starting to fall off the wheel. The motor gets going again with the bases loaded. Springer capitalizes on it. At the beginning of the season, that was the exact hit we would have missed. It would have been bases loaded. They would have been left there, and this game would have ended up being a 6-6 if the Guardians continued to march the way they did on offense. Don't sleep on the Guardians. I know they're in a little bit of a rough spot and they're not quite performing the way they were the first time the Blue Jays played them earlier in the season, but they are a potential playoff team. You got to watch out for them, and I don't think they're going to be going anywhere at the trade deadline here, too, if they're not going to improve. So on the mound today, everybody, we got Max Scherzer versus Gavin Williams. This is game 2 today. And the fun part about this one is if you tune into the Jaybird Watching podcast, we are going to be live streaming this one. So our normal Wednesday evening show, we're going to talk nothing but the game that's on the field while Mad Max is on the hill. So we're hoping that we're going to get to see a good few innings out of him. Is pitched 5 innings in his last start with the Woos against the Woo Sox. Got 8 strikeouts too, so that's very intriguing that we're going to be able to see more than finally just one start for Max Scherzer in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform. Those baseball cards that I've been collecting might actually not have basically Photoshop Blue Jay uniforms on Max Scherzer at this point. We actually get some real is we take some pictures of him in Blue Jay uniform. Gavin Williams going to be on the bump for the Cleveland Guardians. He's been having a pretty decent season. His last 7 starts, he's been cruising to a 2.82 ERA over 38 innings. Quite impressive, and he's having a pretty good season for the Cleveland Guardians after having some grumpy places to the beginning of the season. Um, they got pitching. So we're going to see what happens this evening at 6:40 p.m. and we're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball, like I mentioned on the Jaybird Watching podcast live. So make sure you tune in and make sure you hit those like, share, subscribe buttons on that, and right here on Jays Latest, so you can be notified about our every show. We hope to talk to you soon. Go Blue Jays, and hopefully we'll have some wonderful things to talk about with Mad Max tomorrow morning. Cheers.